Blessings to all, and welcome to another episode of Elevate the Mic. And I'm your host, Max Mupese. Today is a very great day. Why? Because I have somebody I consider a good friend who's here, somebody who I've known for quite some time, for some years, who has paved the way for a lot of people in the neighborhood I grew up in, NDG. Now, anybody who's watching this does not know who that person is. He goes by the name of Beanie, but also his real name is Shondel. So we have the business owner, the pioneer of NDG, or the legend of NDG, I should say, that's in the building. How you feeling, man?
Feeling good, man.
Great.
Yeah.
100%.
Appreciate you for having me here, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So how you feeling, man?
Feeling good. Feeling good. Comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Got it. It's your first time on set, if I'm not mistaken, like in
Yeah.
front of,
Pretty much, in front of the cameras and all that cool stuff,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually people know you for being behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Being an overseer or operator, person that's plugging things together.
Yeah.
How does it feel to actually have the spotlight for once, being in front of a camera at this point?
It's definitely different, for sure. Maybe a little bit nervous, but I'm sure we can get through it.
That's it.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So anybody who does not know about your story or hears about you for the first time, your real name is Shondel.
Shondel Nicholas, yeah.
Why did they call you Beanie, or why people started calling you Beanie? I never actually asked.
Yeah, actually it was I think it was more or less because when I first migrated to Canada, pretty much I went to Lavoie school.
Yes.
So I had a friend that was from the States actually, and he told me that kind of looked like the artist Beanie Man.
Right.
Yeah, so, but I don't know, I don't see the similarity, but I don't know, they say, and then it just kind of went from there,
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
So just that alone helped the whole neighborhood called you Beanie.
Call me Beanie, yeah, exactly,
That's
and
amazing.
it's just, and then just transcended, I guess, over the time.
Got it.
Yeah.
And you were born in Grenada, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, that's right.
Spent some time. Well, how was it like growing up in Grenada and then moving to Canada in those times?
Yeah.
Like in the 90s, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting. Yeah. Obviously, my mom kind of migrated here first, and leave me and some other siblings behind, so it was kind of a little bit challenging. There was some little challenges coming up, but we always had like a great family, large family background.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, it was pretty interesting.
Got it.
Yeah.
Anything that you are appreciative of?
Of growing up from
Yes.
in Grenada, yeah.
Yes.
Of course, for sure. I personally, I think a lot of the values that I stand by today, I think I gain all of that from those times, So I think that time of my life was super important as well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Also, like I understand growing up there and then coming to NDG where it's a community-minded environment where people are a lot more of they like to share. People
Yeah,
share in NDG.
for
So
sure.
for you, it was probably easier for you to adapt in a way, right?
Absolutely.
it.
Yeah, I think so too. And just kind of being in NDG as well from Grenada, because NDG is like it's like a lot more like a West Indian culture area.
Yeah.
So it was the transition was okay. It wasn't like a big shock. I guess more or less what was a little bit more challenging for me at the time was more or less adapting to the language.
Right.
But over time, it was it was fine, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Anybody? Well, there's people watching this right now and not necessarily understanding why Shondel is here, why Beanie's here. You're a business owner. You own a shoe store, right?
Yeah.
Could you tell us about your early days? Because I remember one of the most inspiring moments was that you used to sell shoes in the garage, right?
Yeah.
And
even go farther than that, from like the car trunk,
Wow.
where I used to just pretty much, just go around and meet different people. A couple of people who knew about what was going on, would hit me up, and I would just go, pull up at the location, and sell shoes from the trunk, pretty much, So
Serious.
yeah, so that's where it kind of started, a little
That's
bit.
before even having a website, before having business
sure,
cards.
For
Just
sure.
people would call you and then
Just-
you'd go.
Yeah. well, if to really go like a little bit back,
Right.
it kind of started with there was a guy that used to this guy from LaSalle, pretty much, that used to go to New York and buy like, you know, regular gears that we would wear,
Right.
and come back and sell it, you know, to us here. So these are the guys we used to kind of pick up some T-shirts and jeans from, you know, cool shit, and I was kind of fascinated by that, you know, and I was always attractive of kind of adapting and doing something similar, you know. So I think he kind of, I kind of showed him that, yeah, I was interested in doing that too. So a couple times he would go to New York, he would leave some of the stuff with me to sell, you know, for him. And I kind of showed him that I was interested in doing that same business as well. So he kind of gave me like a challenge, you know. He's like, hey, listen, if you can make it to New York with me, I'll show you where I get the stuff from, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. So pretty much it's like, if you're able to get yourself a car and get to New York,
Okay.
I'll expose you to, you know,
Okay.
to the sources.
That's a
you
serious
know?
challenge.
Yeah. So, you know, I remember I told one of my other buddy, I was like, hey, listen, this is what's up, man. And this guy wants us to, you know, and him and his wife was going, and I think I rented a car. That was like the first time I rented a car. And then we drove, following him, go to New York, man, into Manhattan. You know,
Shoot.
yeah. And then them time they used to have those buildings. They used to call them, well, it wasn't like crack house, but they call it the crack house.
Right.
That was before 9/11, right? And it's like apartment buildings, right? Each floor, each level, there was a different person selling different things in each of those little blocks in the building, not one building, you know, like rundown buildings, you know. And yeah, so we'd go there, man, and just pick up little T-shirts and stuff from them, and I'd come back and hustle those, you know.
Sure.
So, yeah.
That's
pretty
serious.
much,
Yeah, that feels like it's a documentary the way you're explaining it too. Because going to New York, you're always gonna hear a different story, a new story. You feel like you're in a movie, and you doing that. What would you say has been some of the challenges you've had to face, whether it's before 9/11 or even after 9/11, and adapting yourself or even preparing yourself to have that store?
I would definitely say finance. It's a big one for sure. Also, people believing in you.
Right.
You know, it's another one. But I was a person, I would always go based on my own vibe, you know, a lot. So sometimes even if I don't feel that reciprocation of that energy,
Right.
if I believe in it, I'll just always move forward, you know. So I kind of always been on that kind of momentum, you know, a lot. Yeah.
That's powerful because you said finances and also belief, like the fact that people outside of yourself were not believing in yourself as much as you were,
So,
which is understandable because you know, results are always important when people don't necessarily know where you're going with the project that you're working on. So how were you able to have an abundance mindset? Because it takes an abundance mindset to tell yourself, you know, I'm going to make it, I'm going to make it happen, I'm going to get to that point, knowing that you were lacking in finances or even having trouble in finances.
I would maybe say passion. I think passion has a big part to do with it, because I think if you're really passionate about something, even if finance is an obstacle, you still push through, you know. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
So you look at it as, you know, it's part of the process. I'm just gonna have to go through it.
You know, but whatever means, you know, sometimes, you know, just keep going. Yeah. And I think if in anything, you know, I think passion is a big part, even to able to see any type of success.
Right.
In any type of business, you know, because a lot of time people can have great ideas, you know, but there's no passion. So you can't really see the manifestation of like real true success from it, you know, without the passion. So, because sometimes you might have some solid days and you're going to have some weak days. But if you have that passion, you're still able to push through. You know?
Speaking of passion, what made you say, you know what, I'm going to get into the sneaker business? Because you could have went any other way. You could have, you know, went into jewelry game or whatnot. But what made you realize, you know what, I'm going to get that car? When your boy from LaSalle, or even the guy you met that was in LaSalle, told you, you know what, in order to know where the secret stash spot is.
Yeah.
You need to invest in yourself or even take that decision. What made you say, you know what, I'm gonna go with sneakers?
I would think like it's a little bit of experience in like what I was playing around with that back and forth from New York with the clothing,
Right.
and with that little bit of experience, I kind of started to kind of more or less like strategize my direction, and so I was kind of thinking about like what type of product for sustainability, you know, because that's an important part. Sustainability, because you know sometimes you can have great ideas, but yeah, it's how far could you go with it, right? So I think I was thinking about what product, because I tried a couple different products, and I knew, you know, certain brands too, they have like sometimes a short lifespan.
Right.
So I was kind of like more or less gearing to, like looking at the market and just kind of gearing towards product that I knew been around for a long time and will transcend through generation.
Right.
So I kind of align myself to those brands. So that way you would always be in
Studying the market.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Okay. And that's important for anybody who's watching this for the first time.
Yeah.
Does not know which angle to take, whether it's
Yeah.
like, you know, I want to start a shoe company.
Yeah.
What's the best way to go about it? You would
Yeah.
say, first and foremost, you would study the market. And
Yeah. I would say not just study the market, but whatever the idea is, like research. Research is a big one. Because you can do a research and then come with a conclusion that maybe it's not a smart direction to take, right? But without no research, and you jump in there, boom, you know, you're like,
Right.
make a lot of mistakes, right? So I would say the research, you know, whether or not if it's to go forward or to re-strategize, you know, with that information from that research, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
So you use that as foundation.
As foundation to, you know, to go forward. Yeah.
Okay. Well, whenever it comes down to environment, because you know we're from the same environment, NDG.
Yeah.
When you look at the history of Walkley or even Fielding, that area specifically, it has been known for having a bad rep, as they say. What would you say has been a challenge you had to go through when you first opened your business in that area that you're thankful today you made that decision?
In terms of like challenges, I would say for people that, so remember I said I was doing it from the car trunk, so I kind of like established like a nice clientele list from that point, right? So a lot of the people I used to dealt with, like I used to go to the location I met, right? Knowing of the background of NDG itself, or that little area where we came from, had that bad stereotype. So they wouldn't want to come into NDG, right? So a lot of those customers that I maybe, if I was at a different location, I could have got business from, they refused to come because of the area, right? So I would say that would be like a negative in terms of like location, but I think sometimes we are like kind of put into space or position for a reason. I think where I am right now, it's it was kind of meant to be in a sense, because a lot of things that I've experienced there, I've learned there. I think me being on the space there was kind of like vital, you know, to kind of go through that time and experience what I've experienced over there.
Which also helped when you were doing back and forth in New York, Montreal.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's important.
So because I've shared a lot, I've helped a lot, I've saved a lot too, also, you know. So that's when I said like being there maybe was a call. What's the reason? What, you know? Yeah. Pretty much.
It helped in a way also with leveraging relationships, helped in a way where...
Absolutely, you know, absolutely. Because I've helped a lot of other youths, you know, with my space, you know, inspired a lot, you know, share, break bread also, you know, and just share the knowledge of the business, you know, with others, you know. And even up to this day, you know, you hear a lot, like, you know, like, as you said, inspire,
Mm.
you know, a lot of people who didn't view themselves as being able to do something as close as what I did,
Mm-hmm.
found the courage, you know, to be
Mm.
able to execute stuff like that, you know.
Yeah, that's
'Cause,
meaningful.
yeah, for
That's
sure.
meaningful. I mean,
So
in that environment specifically where there's not many
many,
resources, and sometimes you just see one person doing it, and
yeah,
that just sparks an idea. Tell
yeah,
yourself, I
for
could
sure.
do
You
it too.
believe that you can do it as well, you know, for sure.
Great.
Yeah,
So DG Kicks is the name of the store.
yeah, yeah. That's the
Got it.
name of the store, pretty much. Yeah.
As we know we're in a hip hop or it's a hip hop show,
Mhm.
and kicks
Mhm.
are part of hip hop because it's
Mhm.
style and fashion.
Mhm.
How would you say, or what would you say is a way that you're able to add a certain value to the culture that is not necessarily compared to your competitors?
Mhm.
If I rephrase that,
Mhm.
if we were to say DG Kicks,
Mhm.
what is a way that DG Kicks is currently standing out,
Mhm.
contrary to your competitors in the culture of hip hop?
Um, I would say, you know, based on what type of flavor I bring into it, because if you take a look, there is a, like for restaurants, for example, right? Some people may like Italian dish. You may like, you know, Caribbean dish, you know, so we have different flavors, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think with what I do,
Mm-hmm.
I bring my own flavor towards that culture, and there is certain people that align to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would say my own personal flavor that I bring into the culture, being that I'm part of the culture, how I view the culture, right? So I would say that's what it is, you know, pretty
Got
much
it.
from my end. Yeah.
What's impressive
In
is that
terms of-
every time I show up at the store,
Mhm.
you modify, you always
Yeah.
declutter, you always
Yeah.
change it, change the shape of, you know, the entrance, everything.
Mhm.
Everything just looks brand new. So
Yeah.
what goes through your mind for you to do that every single time, or even every now and
Mhm.
then, just to change the
To switch it
scenery?
around.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's just me exposing myself to different air, different 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 environment, people, you know, combine. I give out my own personal from all the pieces that I pick up from everywhere. Like you say, going to New York,
Right.
you know, sometimes I would just go to New York, not necessarily to source product, just to observe that air, you know. And then I come back and I put my twist to it, you know, based on that exposure, you know. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Could you share with us a bittersweet moment that you had to go through in order to sacrifice and even get to a point where you became a full-time business owner?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, one of them I would say, because there's a couple, but one I think that kind of like really sticked out to me a little bit. It would be I used to be a UPS driver.
Right.
I used to be a UPS driver, but my position as a UPS driver, I used to be like going at like 5 a.m. in the morning. Cause UPS has its own plane that brings in all the
It's no joke.
yeah, that brings in all the express envelopes or whatever,
Right.
express goods, right? And so I would have to go to the hub, take the truck, go to the airport, and just wait for that plane to come in. They load me up. I bring that back to the hub before 9 because the guys has to get that to go out. So that was like a really vital position over there. I was doing that for a while. I was with the company for like 7 years. And I think one of the only part that I, in terms of like what I said, in terms of sacrifice,
Right.
is leaving the company at 7 years as opposed to waiting out my 10 years to be able to lock in that UPS itself, the company pension
Okay.
portfolio, I guess. That would be the only one I'll say. That 3 years, I could have run a little bit harder. I could have go to that 3 years and locked in that company pension. So that was a sacrifice, I think, from on my end that I, you know, I'm saying that I put more of the energy towards the business, and then left out UPS. Yeah. Yeah.
You also talked about you did a lot for people. We know that people growing up in that area, NDG, knows that you've done a lot for a lot of organizations, for people working there. You've worked with the youth also. What would you say has been a fulfilling moment, or what's the most aha moment you've had ever since you started working with organizations and the youth?
Yeah. So we do that radio program with Ian. Wheezy,
Yes.
right? So at the location, I think one of the highlights for me still it was having to interview the opposition leader at my location, which was Dominic Anglad. Yeah, she coming in and not just doing the interview there. It was just the whole process prior to the interview with the preparation of the location, where something similar to like the Secret Service. I know Canada has its own, where those guys come in with their regular jacket and tie, but they're full
shades.
Yeah, exactly. And we had to have like a command center, a safe space also in case something happens. So it's just the whole process, scoping out the whole building and just making sure that it was a safe space for the opposition leader to come in, So that was like a big one for me, where we had to lock off the whole street. Like we had about 20 cop cars locked in on the building, So that was exactly. So we brought that there. That was a big one.
Serious, man. And shout outs to the Morning Detour, by the way.
Yeah.
Tamara, Wizzy Moon Chaser, and DJ Nels.
Yeah.
That's serious.
Yeah.
That's serious.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, when you look at what you've accomplished and what you're constantly accomplishing, what is one thing that's currently driving you, that you're telling yourself, you know what, there's nothing that's going to stop me because of what's in, what I believe in, that single thing?
I would say that, like for me, like how others view me, it's a big one. And it's just not just a specific individual, just everybody in general, family, guys like you also, and also what I hear coming from you guys as well. So I will try to maintain that type of vibe or that type of lifestyle to continue hearing those stuff. You know what I mean?
That's interesting what you're saying. Wait, when you say that, it's not a form of validation, right? You're not saying that to like live up to their standard?
Yeah.
Or, okay.
No. Well, in terms of like, no, it's not to live up to their standard.
Right.
It's just kind of telling me, validating that, hey, listen, you're doing something good.
That's okay, got it.
You're doing something positive. And you're like, oh yeah, okay, great. So I'm gonna continue serving.
Got it. Through other people, like through the people, you can see that, okay, the work is
that's
there.
so it's working. Something is working. So just keep on serving, keep on giving. Keep
That's
doing
it.
that.
That's it. And for anybody who's watching, what would you tell your 16-year-old self watching this right now, knowing that you have all of these years of experience and the knowledge and wisdom? What would you tell that person in a sentence, or even if you had to sit down?
Yeah. A lot of times, sometimes we get through like opportunities,
right?
And sometimes because of inexperience, we don't know how to properly like protect those. So I would say whatever opportunity that you're given, with all of your ability, try to protect that. It could be even relationships, right? Like me and you, that's a relation, whatever relation. It doesn't matter, even if it's not really beneficial to you at that current time anymore. Just being able to protect it, because you never know where it might end up, where we might, because just for example, like me and you, I remember when you used to first come around, you had that drive in you, even with the books, and you was always like so passionate, and I kind of get that vibe from you. Thanks. So I was always, the kind of guy that would like just give that encouragement, And so I would say that, and look where the relationship got us today, right?
Right.
So we're sitting on the chair. So those are some of the things, even for me too, because being DigiCakes and selling the products that I do. Was contacted by Amazon to sell the product on the Amazon platform. That was a big one too for me, right? But then end up being suspended from Amazon as well, right? So losing that, right? So if I bringing it back to if at my 16-year me, if I knew some of the things that I knew today, I would be able to know how to properly protect those accounts, protect those relationships, so that way I can transcend and still have those things today.
Got
you know,
it.
in terms of like how I, so
Operate.
operate
Okay.
exactly. So sometimes we have certain things and we expose to certain things, and then we just
Right.
trying to look at it like it's not. But if we have the information that, hey, listen, you may need that at a later time, so protect that, nurture it, keep it so that you can, So I think that's a big one.
Got
in terms
it.
of like
Nurturing and
nurturing.
protecting.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
When it comes down to your day-to-day, because there's people that tell themselves, you know what, I want to jump into business, I want to do this, do that, I want to become a shoe store owner rather. Could you tell us a brief day-to-day and how things go behind the scenes, what you got to look out for? And if anybody would sit down with you, like what are some steps they would have to take?
I would say one of the first thing I would say it's executing. Like if you have a task,
Right.
a lot of times we take notes to say, okay, I got to get this done, I got to get that done, I got to get this done. As much as possible as you can execute those tasks, it'd be a lot better because every day brings a new task, right? So eliminating as much of those tasks on a daily basis as possible is always it's gonna open up doors for you to do just more. So eliminating as opposed to say, I'm gonna do this tomorrow.
Got it.
I'm gonna do this next week. Eliminate. If you get a message and you're supposed to contact somebody, send a message to them, do it right away. Bro.
Right.
Send that right away, so that way you get that out of the way, open up space for something else.
Okay.
So you're always like.
Right.
Yeah.
Whether it's sending an email,
Yeah.
phone call.
Yeah.
Got it.
And in terms of like would say in terms of like advice,
Right.
in terms of like business sense.
Yes.
So coming back to when you say product research, right? I think for the years I've been doing the business, I think there is like three main things that kind of stands out to me for like any business to be successful, right? And so you kind of have to have like a product, right? A face,
Right.
and a solid like supply chain. Those three things, and it applies to anything, because you could have a great face,
Right.
meaning when I say great face, you're approachable, you have a
yes.
good image, you can, you know how to communicate with people, but you don't have a great product, right? And then you could have a great face, a great product, but you have no way to source it. You don't have a supply chain. So those three things together, I think you can make like any idea or business successful. You can go into more depth, but I think the fundamental product, whatever that product is, face, image, or location, that could be a face too,
Right.
and a source. Where do you get that thing from? And could you continue supplying that thing?
Y'all heard that? That's the secret sauce.
Yeah.
You could just buy the one and only Beanie. Beanie gave us the secret sauce.
Yeah.
Now, last question I'd like to ask you: what is a current goal that you're currently working on, or a goal that you have in mind that you want to accomplish within the next 5 years?
I would say just keep personally like strengthening the brand and making the brand more or less like a household name. I'm big on service,
Right.
because I think also if you give great service, right? I don't mean just in like business service, just if you're a service person, it brings a lot more to you that it gives you abundance that you don't even have to demand.
Right.
Like if you're just offering services, you're servicing your client, you're servicing, whatever, it brings an abundance of things to you that you don't even have to go out there searching for, you know. So I think that's a big one. That's what I'm kind of more or less gearing myself towards.
Right.
And also making me, Shondel, a brand, right? So, because I just leaving myself open to opportunities.
Right.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I see sometimes you do these videos on YouTube. No, not on YouTube, on Instagram or even TikTok.
Yeah.
Where you rap or even sing. You actually you record in your store.
Yeah.
Where did that thought? Well, how did that come about? You just you wanted to do it out of out
Well,
of spite?
it was also a strategy too, you know. So it's because you know entertainment is like a big thing, right? So everybody wants to be entertained, right? And obviously I have products, but a lot of times I always thinking of it from my standpoint. How would I like to be served? Do I want to be bombarded by informations of, you know, or, you know, welcoming? So entertainment is a big thing. People are always tuned in. They want to hear something, you know, and at the same time plug in the products. So together, merging the two together, so I'm giving you entertainment at the same time exposure to the product. You understand? So I think together it gets, you know, somebody say, hey, now let's see what he's singing today.
Right.
But at the same time, I'll let you know about this product ID for this pants that I'm wearing or the jacket that I'm wearing. It's like, oh yeah, that jacket look cool, man. Could I get that? Boom, we got it available. This is the price. So I'm exposing you to that. So you sit and taking in the track, but at the same time being exposed to the products at the same time.
Which is brilliant because you actually tag the products and then you tag the shoes.
Yeah.
Got it. All right.
So this is a strategy, I guess.
That's it.
Yeah.
Where could people follow you, even hear about you, or even follow, know what's next with Shondel or Beanie?
I would say definitely the website DG Kicks because it's DG Kicks is more or less like a platform because it has a little marketplace there as well. I do some electronic stuffs on there and the product as well. And with the website, you can get tied into me via my Instagram or direct contact numbers are also there. But I'm very active on Instagram, pretty much all the social platforms. But yeah, Instagram, I'm very big on there. So it's DG_Kicks.
DG_Kicks.
Yeah. And yeah, definitely the website, you know, you can keep track of that to see the direction of where we go from here on, you know.
Got it.
Yeah.
You offer stylist services or even?
Yeah, of course. Well, you know, I would share, we call it sharing the sauce.
Right.
You know, so I share the sauce sometimes, you know, I don't know, from my view, you know, I'm not the master, fashionista, but, you know, the little knowledge of what I know, what I do, you know, people do come to me for special services, you know, so we do that a little bit, you know, or special requests. I'm there, I'm always open, you know, like you may have your own vision or views of how you want to look, right?
Yeah.
So as opposed to steering you down my direction, I always like to open to hear where you at and I can kind of like help you navigate to where you want to go. So that's the thing, right?
Got it.
So, you know, sometimes I might see you as different, being a little bit more aggressive, but you're not there yet.
Right.
So it's okay. We can just slowly get there with whatever it is that's you comfortable with, and pull out something that, you know, that makes you comfortable with yourself or your skin, you know. So
got it.
Yeah.
Y'all heard that. If you need that,
Yeah.
you know, Beanie's gonna be the one looking out for you.
Yeah.
Man, I appreciate you for showing up and you know, doing this wonderful interview. You handled it well. You handled it very well.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
You did. So,
sure.
man, just keep on keeping on.
Absolutely.
What you're doing is honorable. It's you setting the standard for the next generation, and you've been setting that standard.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
that's all we need, man. Inspiration and a bunch of love.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you too.
100%. Another episode of Elevate the Mic with your one and only Beanie out of DG. Shout outs to everybody who's watching this, and Like we say all the time, elevate the mic is to elevate the mindsets and the skill sets of individuals who are part of the hip hop community. Love.